This is an article that Dane suggested we talk about. Dane, what did you think about this article? It says an all-American made car would likely cost around $400,000. This is from Jalopnik.
Yeah, I'll kind of summarize quick. So this guy basically is dogging on the Trump tariffs real bad and the whole Trump administration, which is fine. Whether you're a conservative or liberal or Democrat or Republican, I would throw that aside for a second and just look at this for what it's worth. If you're conservative, it's easy to write this guy off reading this and say, well, this guy just hates Trump, so he's stupid, doesn't know nothing, but he brings up a lot of valid points.
Like what?
So as you're going through this, they're saying if we raise these tariffs and bring nothing else in and do a solely American made vehicle, you need to look at everything else that's also affected. So a lot of things right now, we're not set up to make here. We're not set up to make a lot of electronics. We're not set up to make a lot of plastics. There's a lot of parts in the manufacturing materials that we're just not set up for in America. So for the company to go out on its own and do that, it's very, 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 very expensive. And you have to look at a long-term investment for that kind of thing too. And all the people you need to hire, the buildings you need to be built, the machinery just to build the product in pieces, it becomes very difficult. And if you had to mine that stuff, you're not going to get it all in America. It just becomes difficult. But then you go the next layer down. Think of all the machinery it takes to then assemble these vehicles. You've got the robots, the electronic controls, all the assembly line stuff. Very few of those parts are all American made. Most of them, especially electronics, are all made overseas. And so once you start to add all those layers of what it would take to get a true 100% American made vehicle, the expense is astronomical, and the bottom line profit margin for these companies goes negative. It's not good. And
All right, so go
yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, so I don't know. I don't really like this article because I read it, and what he's proposing is he's looking at it through he's given a false dichotomy of one or two things could happen. So it's like we continue on what we do, or we do Trump's tariffs and everything gets made in the U.S. But it's a false dichotomy because that is not going to happen.
No, it's not. It's not going to happen, and that's kind of how the article set up. What would it cost if we did do 100% American-made vehicles? Kind of how it's set up. It's not going to happen. This is what it would be.
I mean, but what if everybody drove the speed limit?
It should all be zero.
You think what?
I think the tariffs thing is really stupid. It should be zero across the board.
What do you mean zero across the board?
Zero tariffs, free trade, every country.
Yeah, but they don't do that. They don't want to do that.
I know they don't want to do that, but they should. It should be zero. It would make everything so much cheaper and better for the consumer.
Yeah, but that ain't gonna happen. Just like this article is not gonna happen.
It could happen. Oh. I know the article's not going to happen either, but
anything could happen.
Let's just it's fun to have the mental experiment, right? Of like, what would it take? Go the extra layers. Like if we actually want to do 100% everything here, what's it going to take to do?
I don't understand. Look at this picture. This guy clearly does not like people who
that's why I started off with that.
For Trump.
He pretty much just dogs on the Trump administration the whole time. I try to look past that a little bit and look at just the facts of the article, not so much his opinion.
There's no facts in this article. It's just it's just like a mental experiment that's never going to happen.
Well, sure, but saying what it's going to cost is factual. It's based on
they would never. We have supply and demand.
Sure.
So they would never put a car on sale for 400. Let's say it's.
Oh, I know they would. That's what I'm saying.
It won't sell. It won't even sell for like maybe $10,000 more than it is now. Not $400,000.
That's exactly what this says. It's never going to happen.
OEMs would figure out a way to get the price down to what people are willing to pay, or they won't sell cars and they'll go out of business.
Yeah, they don't have. Yeah, right. They don't have a
figure
choice.
out something.
They don't have a choice. They have to.
The worst thing that would happen is more vehicles would be like that slate, and they would take away a lot of these stupid things that people really don't need. The stupid panoramic roofs that I hate, that are unsafe anyway. All the millions of features, or the giant screens, all that stuff would go away if it really came down to cutting costs. they would cut out stuff that we really don't need, and it would probably be a better situation for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think. And people were in the comments like, "Oh, well, if you made iPhones in the U.S., they'd cost $3,500." But yeah, but nobody would buy it, so they'll never sell it for more than what people are willing to buy.
Right. So it
It
brings
just
us
will
back to
sit on the
this,
shelf.
which comes back to kind of the original start of this. Is that's why the tariffs are stupid. Because if you're going to force some of that manufacturing to come back in the United States, it's going to make all these consumer products go up in cost.
It hasn't. Well, look, I think that we're kind of like really knowledgeable about vehicles in the automotive industry, right? We don't know everything, but
Nope.
compared to the average person, we know a lot. Okay,
Mhm.
not perfect, but we know a lot. It's obvious. We don't know a lot about the economic principles. I'm not. I didn't go to school for business. Okay, maybe Tom would be better. Our friend Tom went and he got a MBA,
Mhm.
but we're trained in automotive stuff. Just like the person who I'm assuming who wrote this article is not an economist. So for us to come out and say, "Oh, it's a really stupid idea to do this or do that," we're kind of out of our wheelhouse. We're out of our lane speaking on this stuff. Now, it seems to me like Trump knows more about business than the average person. When he was in charge the last time, the economy was pretty good. Is better than it was with Biden. I say let's give him a chance to try what he wants to do. A lot of these tariffs, I think, are negotiating and being used as leverage to get better trade deals. So let's see how things work when he does it his way. I mean, I don't want to do it Biden's way. Biden was freaking asleep half the time. Let's try Trump's way. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I hope that he knows what he's doing. I just don't.
He was in charge of
I
the
want to.
economy before it was pretty good.
Well, here's what I want to see. Here's what I know I want to see. Anyways, I want to see a trade deficit, or not trade deficit. I want to see trade
Balanced
at
budget.
$0. I want to see free trade across everything because it just makes it better for everybody, especially the consumer. Because
Well,
it doesn't take an economic genius to know that if the cost of a good goes up, the consumer is going to pay more for that good when it's done. And so if our government says for no reason other than we don't like where it's coming from, we're going to make it cost more, the people inside of the country, us, need to now pay more for it. Right? Like businesses don't pay taxes, their customers do. Businesses don't pay tariffs, their customers do. All that stuff gets passed on.
well, we'll see what happens,
Yes.
Dane. We'll see what we're car guys, okay?
Right. So keep making awesome cars. Be like Mary Bear.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
More
All right,
views, please.
that's enough politics. Let's look at this Instagram from Mark DeRio. So, Dane, if you were pumping your gas and some people tried to come and take away your vehicle, what would you do? Let's look at what this guy did. Hold that thought. Let's look at this guy.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Yes.
Get it how you live it.
He sprayed them all with
Yes.
gasoline. That's my hero, this guy. Look, he
10 toes
sprayed it
in
all.
when we standing
Now
on
light
business.
it.
I'm a big stepper.
He sprayed it all in the face.
That is awesome. Cool.
Yo,
Good for this guy.
That is wild, man. That is so wild.
Where was this at? Any idea?
I don't know. Let's see if they know in the comments. This guy says those dudes must be suffocating in the van. This guy says, imagine these guys driving off, not thinking, and one lights a cigarette up on the way home.
Poof.
That'd be hilarious. This guy says, I would 1000% be happy to pay for that wasted gas.
Agreed.
Oh boy. Well, we don't know where that happened, but kudos to that guy. He's the hero of the day.